So, given the events of the week, folks, universal health care is back in fashion. That's right. More Americans say health care is a government responsibility, according to the latest Gallup poll. 62% of Americans say it's the federal government's responsibility to ensure everyone has health care coverage, a survey from Gallup found. The figure is the highest it's been in more than a decade. It slipped to its low of 42% in 2013 during the difficult rollout of the Affordable Care Act, commonly known as Obamacare. If there's one factoid that you could throw out to the libs to describe what an abominable failure Barack Obama was, it's that he came in, healthcare was his priority, and shortly after his first term, right into his second term, universal health care was at an all-time low in popularity for his work. Think about that. Think about it. He comes in promising a public option. His big first plan when he took office was, we're going to do healthcare. We're going to fix the healthcare system. And in doing so, he tanked support for Medicare for all. George Bush didn't tank support for Medicare for all. Donald Trump didn't tank it. No, Barack Obama tanked it.
All right. To be fair, and I'm not going to say it has nothing to do with the way it was executed and instituted, there was a full court press from Republicans in the conservative media
There absolutely was.
Demonize universal health care during that period.
There absolutely was, but this was not, don't forget, this wasn't in 2009 when that was being litigated. This was a few years after it had been implemented. And so I think the implementation of it is what turned a lot of people off, too, because it ended up driving up costs for a lot of people.
You can keep it.
Right. Well, you like your doctor, you can keep it. Also, Obamacare was really a great program for, like, the working poor, which is what I was. So it was great for me. You know, it was great for us. I mean, we were on Obamacare for a while. So I was definitely one of the winners in it. But like the middle class, especially like the working to lower middle class, yeah, they got raked over the coals. Because if you had an income of like 40 grand a year, you were paying $500 a month in premiums for a deductible that was more than you could afford anyway. So it wasn't really insurance. Right. It was just this tax that got you horrible health care.
And then you had the mandate at that time.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You had to pay it. The worst thing about Obamacare is it revived the old attack on left policies that it benefits only the poor and the middle class pays for it. It brought that back.
Yep.
Like Bill Clinton, whatever his sins and whatever cruelties he committed to get rid of that, he pretty much managed to get rid of it, more or less. The idea that the Democrats are synonymous with taxing the middle class. This brought that right back.
Right. It was at its highest point in 2006, when 69% of Americans believed health care should be covered by the government. Gallup noted that from 2000 to 2008, a majority of Americans consistently believed the government should ensure its citizens have health care coverage. As then President Obama began to introduce the ACA, support for the idea shifted and Americans became divided over the issue. Public opinion shifted back and most Americans saw coverage as the government's issue in the later years of Obama's presidency, Gallup said. Large majorities of Democrats have consistently believed the government should ensure Americans have health care coverage, but in recent years, independents and Republicans have also shared this view. Currently, 32% of Republicans hold the view that government should provide coverage, which is up from 22% in 2020. Among independents, the view stands at 65%, up 6 points from 2020. And once again, this is an idea that the Democratic Party simply refuses to embrace. Just like this year, there was reliable polling out of the swing states that said overwhelming majorities of swing state voters wanted a ceasefire, and that majorities of swing state voters, not swing state Democrats, swing state voters, wanted aid to Israel conditioned, if not cut off. Nope, they'll leave all those voters on the table. Look at this issue. Look at this issue. Your base is in lockstep on it. A third of your opponents want it, and 65% of the all-important independent swing voters want it, and yet they won't touch it.
And the people who write the checks do not.
Exactly. That's what it all comes down to. Gallup noted that as President-elect Trump prepares to take the White House again, public support for the ACA is just as high as it was in his first term. Trump and Republicans attempted to unsuccessfully repeal the ACA in 2017, and he has indicated he is interested in trying again to dismantle the law, but the survey shows doing so could be a difficult task. Yes, and that will come with a very, very hefty price tag. You know, healthcare is one of these issues where you really see interests transcending ideologies. Like, nobody wants to go without health care coverage. No one wants to sweat when they go see a doctor that they're going to be in financial ruin when they walk out the door. Whatever your political views are, people have interests that transcend them. And so when you try to touch people's health coverage, there's a big political price to pay for that. And now you have 2024 going into 2025, almost 2/3 of Americans in lockstep behind the idea that the government has a responsibility to pay for the health care of its people. And you have one party threatening to take a chainsaw to the ACA, and you have a second party that says, well, no, we're not going to try and move the ball any further down the field. They keep running on it as if they say, I mean, Biden said he wanted to pursue a public option. We just knew that that was nonsense. We knew there was no chance of that. We knew. It was very clear in 2016 when Bernie was pushing Medicare for all, and the retort to that was, well, expand the ACA. And we know expand the ACA is nonsense. They don't want to do anything. Right. They consider this issue done. Obamacare is as good as it gets. It'll never get any better than that, despite the fact that overwhelming majorities of people, including 2/3 of independents, want it. They still will not touch it.
Well, this is why I think the only answer is mass civil disobedience, mass strikes, general strikes. That's it. That's the only language they're going to understand. You need to make the country ungovernable. This system is so corrupt. You cannot deal with it by voting anymore, because they will not let anyone who's not going to continue this system stand for office. We saw that. We saw that with Bernie. We've seen what happened with the squad. Okay, so we got a few in. They ate them. Right. That's what they're going to do with anyone you manage to get in there. And I'll remind people, for anyone who forgot, Obama had 2 people who refused to vote for Obamacare for 2 different reasons. Kucinich would not vote for it without a public option, and Lieberman would not vote for it with one. Right. Guess whose district he went to?
Right, exactly.
Kucinich.
Guess who he leaned on? Right.
That's who he leaned on.
Yep. That says it all. Absolutely.
Please clap.